Hey, you're listening to Commander Cookout Podcast, episode 162. I'm Brando. I'm here with Ryan, and today we're going to kick off a new arc 'cause it's a new year. Now hit our theme song! Hey, Ryan. We're back for yet another whirlwind adventure. How you doing?
Good. What is going down?
A whole ton is going down. Like we're back after another exciting EDH&M. We made it through one of the deepest freezes in Saskatoon history. And we're going to talk about a whole bunch of magic-related things. We've got prizes. We got new patrons. We're kicking off a new arc that I think people are going to be really into. But before we do any of that, we got to thank our official sponsors, face2facegames.com. They're Canada's biggest magic store.
Ooh, very much so. And next weekend, like February 1st.
Sure.
Face-to-face open in Saskatoon. We are going. The CCO Dude Bros are going to go. If you are a local or semi-local person, come jam.
Jam some games. We usually play casual, free around the thing. We usually have some stuff to give away, some free swag, as well as we guarantee we have 276% fun every time.
Every time. And my favorite part is definitely when we give something away and somebody opens it. I just like seeing people open packs to see what they get. I get more excited about what they're going to get than they do, because usually it's jank, but not always.
Ooh.
Yeah, we gave away, I remember the first time we were doing it, I gave away a Yawgmoth. I gave away the Sword of White and Blue.
Yeah.
A couple kids got packs, and it was the funniest thing. I'm standing there, and the dad that was standing there with the three kids was like, "Oh, that's so great. You guys get to just give away stuff." And he was so excited like I was. And the kid opens up a whatever he opened, and he's like, "Oh, I could probably trade this in." I'm like, "Oh, dang kid."
Damn kid, knowing about this unregulated economy that we exist in. What the hell?
Yeah. That's it. So those are lots of fun. Speaking of face-to-face games, we've got $25 gift credit certificate to give away for this arc.
We do, and of course, as you know, to get entered to win that, you just have to tag us and Face-to-Face in a post on your social media. Let them know that we were a great pickup and a good investment, and you will be entered in to win $25 to put towards any of your magic supply and or card needs.
That's right, and any of our episodes or articles on face2facegames.com's content portion of their website, if you leave a comment in there, of course, you'll get yourself entered in as well. Just a good article, good pickup, like Brando says, anything like that to let them know that we're doing a good job. That'll get you entered in to win $25.
Yeah, and that could be what can you get for $25 out of the new set? You can get most stuff out of the new set for $25.
I got this.
Okay.
You can get a Dockside Extortionist.
Ooh. You know who else you can get a Dockside Extortionist? You could get yourself entered into our current ARC deck giveaway, which is the Mystic Intellect 2019 Commander deck.
Ooh, now, you might be saying, Savine, sure. Paramacon, 2 thumbs up from Ryan. Dockside Extortionist in that list, too.
That's the shit.
I assume 2 thumbs up from Brando.
Hell yeah.
That was my number 2 Commander card of the year last year.
It's a really good card.
That card is the truth. And the reason we're giving away that one is because it has blue in it. And this is the arc of
New Year, New You, as in the letter U, as in the abbreviation for blue.
That's right. So we are going to focus our upcoming arc on our next few episodes on new and interesting ways to play the Cutler blue. Not just the, draw, go, I'm better than you because I'm smarter because I can assess the board and know what to counter. Cyclonic Rift? Snapcaster?
Cyclonic Rift? Ooh, the land that puts the Cyclonic Rift on top of my library. Brainstorm? Cyclonic Rift?
So, of course, we are making fun at Blue a little bit, and over the next few weeks, we are going to focus on new and interesting ways to play it. Let's give a hint at who the commandy is. Let's read them and then talk about a few other things.
Okay, the commander for the day to kick off the arc is going to be Brudiclad, Telshore Engineer. Have we talked about this commander before?
Telshore?
I call it
or
Telshore.
Telcor.
Telcor, Telshore. We can fight about it in the comments.
Brudiclad, Telecom Communication Engineer.
There we go. He's a 4/4 Artificer for Izzet and 4. Creature tokens you control have haste. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 2/1 blue mirror artifact creature token. Then you may choose a token you control, and if you do, each other token you control becomes a copy of that token. Of note, that includes clue tokens, that includes gold and treasure tokens, any tokens.
Oh. So, on to everything else.
Yes.
First up, you had mentioned we've got some new patrons. We've got 2 weeks worth of patrons to shout out. We're going to do it quick. First 2 shout outs. Riley Kruger, returning patron.
Yes. Welcome back.
Stay strong. He's from Australia. I know that they're going through some trouble right now, and he is not currently on fire, so good on him.
Yeah, that's half the battle.
John Armorall increased his pledge.
Thank you very much.
We very much appreciate that. Next shout out, Cody. Just Cody. You know what that means.
I got to give him a last name, hey? How about Cody Travers?
I don't know. No idea what the reference is, but sure.
That's Cody from Final Fight.
Never heard of it.
His girlfriend gets kidnapped in Metro City, and him and the mayor of Metro City, Mike Hagar, have to traverse the streets, beating the crap out of literally everybody that moves.
Is that a movie?
It's a video game. It'd be a great movie, though. It'd be way better than Double Dragon.
I have no idea what that is either. Oh, I do love a good double D, though. I will say that.
Oh, my.
Cody, thank you. Welcome. Cody Travers, everybody. Next one, Christopher Betker. He was insistent on letting me know that I've pronounced that name wrong in the past, and he tells me it's German and that everybody pronounces it wrong, and Ryan Paneff here, king of getting name pronounced wrong. 6 letters, everybody. What are we going to call Cody Betker?
We're going to call him Cody Pudding Pop.
Pudding Pop?
Yeah, because his last name kind of sounds like Oetker, and they make pudding. So, welcome to Pudding Pop Town.
Welcome to Pudding Pop Town. Don't Google that.
Do not.
Do not Google Christopher Pudding Pop. I don't know what part of the body that entails or what that means.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I probably do.
You 100% you do.
I've got a good imagination, but not as good as Google, so I'm just not going to Google it. Next shout out, Diego, I want to say ID.
Ooh.
That sounds kind of dirty already.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to give her the
I'm going to give him the Diego ID.
Diego ID. I don't know what that means, but I think it's just like, I think that might be the name.
I think it might
Diego
be.
ID.
Yeah, the Diego ID. You have to have the in the front. That way you know it's a dirty sex act.
Yeah. I'm going to give him the Houdini, then I'm going to give him the Diego ID. Yeah, okay. Welcome. I don't know why anybody wants these.
I also don't know why anybody wants these.
Okay, final one is an alias, so you know what that means.
Ooh, sweet new name.
Sweet new Russian name.
Oh.
Okay, Switchbreed.
What?
That's the name.
Oh. He's going to be called, let's go, Tex Bovrov.
Tex?
Tex.
Is that a Russian name?
Nope, that is definitely an American name. It's like 2 Russian parents emigrated to the States, and they wanted to give their kid the most American name they could think of. Tex.
Tex Bovrov. And we pull back the curtain. We Googled Russian last names.
Uh-oh.
We found one that translates into Beaver.
Yeah.
So not only do you have an American Russian name, you also have an American Russian Canadian name. Tex Beaver.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Again, we're not sure why you want your last name to be Beaver, but here we are.
It is where we have ended up.
That's it. Okay, final little bit of news here. We have our boxes of Theros Beyond Death.
We do.
We are ready to do some open flippy.drinky.
We sure are.
So make sure you watch for that on the Commander Cookout YouTube channel. It's going to be there. It's going to be posted on our social media when we go live with round 1. Of course, if you share any of those videos, you'll get entered in to win our deck giveaway. We very much appreciate that. Oh, speaking of last thing. Theros Beyond Death, we did miss a couple instants in sorcery because they weren't done being previewed on our last set review with Zach from Commander Social.
Correct.
Heliod's Intervention, probably the best one.
Yeah.
Destroy X target enchantments or artifacts. Gain 2x life.
It's arguable that it is as good as the green one.
Oh yeah,
I still think the green one's
better. You know
better,
what?
but
Switch the gain X life to destroy 2x enchantments and artifacts.
Yeah, I think the reason why Heliod's Intervention isn't as good as the green one, whose name I can't remember right now,
Nylea's Intervention,
is because the second thing is gain life, and who gives a shit?
Yeah.
As opposed to kill all your opponent's stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Okay. The black card draw spell, Funeral Rites, black 2, draw 2, lose 2, mill 2.
Nah.
That's fine. It's another one like that for 3 mana, which is good. If you want to mill, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those cards where I call them, they're kind of just dull. They're great, and if you're going for that, you should play them.
Yeah, like Read the Bones, Assign in Blood, that kind of stuff.
They're
right?
just not exciting. It's like Harmonize. It's just dull.
You need them, but there's nothing special about them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Death Bellow, Warcry. Search your library for 4 Minotaur cards, put them into play. Minotaur Tribal or the combo that we missed in our recent Reaper King Changeling deck. Search for 4 Changelings that all have Champion of Changeling, so they all ETB and blink each other infinitely.
Jesus.
So Deathbellow Warcry can go straight into that Reaper King deck and exile every single permanent on the battlefield. So we missed those, everybody. Sorry about that.
That happens.
That's just the nature of the beast, I guess.
Yeah.
Deck.
Deck.
Okay, so we got old Broody.
Now, we read Brudiclad, and I actually had a realization while I was reading Brudiclad. Now, it says choose a token you control, and all of your tokens become a copy of those tokens.
Yeah.
So you could, in theory, turn all of your creature tokens into gold tokens and then wrath the board. And then at the end of your turn, all of your creatures would come back.
All of our creatures would come back?
Well, yeah, because all your creature tokens turned into gold tokens.
Yeah.
And then you wrath the board, and at the end of your turn, all of your gold tokens turn back into creatures.
Oh.
So that's... I never thought of that, and that's kind of neat.
That is cool.
That's a cool thing you can do with Brudiclad.
And Red has a lot of ways to sweep, like Blasphemous Act and Disaster Radius and things like that, right?
Yeah, and Chain Reaction.
Oh, yeah, Chain Reaction. That's what I was thinking of.
You can do all kinds of crazy shit with that, so that's pretty cool.
Evacuation in blue as well,
Yep.
because you just turn your tokens into not creature tokens.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's neat.
I like that. That's a little techie Brudiclad tech.
Yeah, so if you hadn't thought of that, there's a nugget for you. So we'll go through the deck. We'll start with the creatures, and we'll save all the good stuff for last so that we can all... No,
yeah, sure.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, this deck, and I don't know, I think this is pretty fun, is the most talked about deck on our show.
What do you mean?
We have featured this deck, I think, 4 times.
Brudiclad?
Nope, but the deck that, as it's evolved...
Oh, I understand what you mean.
It started off as Serac Dragonclaw Werewolf Tribal. Probably one of the worst decks in history. And then it morphed into Arjun the Shifting Flame. Much better, but certainly much different than Werewolf Tribal.
Yeah.
And then it turned into Zerger, Burke, and Fleegy Bleeg, the coin flippy partner guys.
Yep.
And now it's Brudiclad.
Sure. You know what? In the strengths and weaknesses section, one of the strengths of this deck is for CCO Nation, if they are into very Brando-feeling decks. I think you do have your own little bit of flavor or stink on the CCO brand. This deck fits right into that wheelhouse if anybody out there is into it.
Yeah, if you ever want to play a deck that just makes it, you know how I feel all the time, this is probably the one.
Well, let's get into it and see what is going down.
Good one. So our first creature other than Brudiclad is a Geode Golem.
Okay, that's a 5/3 trample for 5. Eat your heart out, Juggernaut?
Yeah.
I think. Anyways, when Geode Golem deals combat damage to a player, you may cast your commandee from the command zone without paying its mana cost. Oh.
Yeah. Brudiclad has 2 big downfalls. 1, he costs 6, and 2, he's an artifact. So he's pretty easy to kill. And he costs a lot. So Geode Golem is in there to, like, when he costs 10, like he did last night,
yeah,
get him for free.
Get him for free. Well, for 5 and an attack. But it's got trample, so you're probably going to get in.
Yeah, you'll get in there for a little bit of damage, then player guy for free.
Sweet.
Excellent. All right, speaking of things that are artifacts, we have a Gioro Weatherlight Captain.
And free. You got 0 drops in here?
I think 1 or 2.
I think you actually have 1, yeah. Anyways, it's a 3/3 human artificer for, is it 2? And when you cast a historic spell that is an artifact, legendary, or saga, you draw a card.
Neat.
Yeah, we just got a bunch of sagas in Theros, too. Maybe you can slot some in here, because this is a real deck that you have.
I could. And of note, I guess there's lots of legendary creatures based on the nature of how the deck has changed over the years.
Yep.
And there's a fair number of artifacts because it's a red-blue deck.
Because it's a red-blue deck and you're playing mana rocks.
Exactly.
So that's fine, yeah.
All right, next up we have Chasm Skulker.
Yeah, that is a 1/1 for blue 2 squid horror. When you draw a card, put a +1 on it. When it dies, you get a 1/1 blue squid creature for each +1 that was on it.
Yes, I'm very excited for new squid to put him in here. The tentacle guy.
The tentacle guy. Yeah. What the tentacles? Really? Do you know how many requests for painted tentacle art I've gotten?
Is there lots?
There's a Let me tell you this. I've had to tell a couple people that I don't do anime. Wink, wink. Do not Google anime and tentacle.
No.
Do not.
Do not. I used to see them at Family Video all the time. Figure that out.
Oh man, do you remember video stores?
Yeah, video stores were great.
Of course you do. You're fucking old.
How many requests have you had to turn all of those boats into rubber ducks?
None.
Oh.
Rubber somethings.
All right, let's keep going here. Next up, we have a Krenko Tin Street Kingpin.
Tin Street Ningpin.
That's what I said.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That's a 1/2. When he attacks, you get a +1 on him, and then you get a goblin for each of his power.
Yeah. It occurs to me right now I'm not playing the other Krenko. I probably should be.
Yes, you should probably play the other Krenko.
All right. Again, a throwback to days gone by. I'm also playing Okun, Eye of Chaos, and Zindersplit, Eye of Wisdom.
So they partner with each other. So if you play one, you can search your library for the other one. At the beginning of combat, on your turn, flip a coin until you lose a flip. They both have that, right?
Yep.
And Zindersplit is whenever a player wins a coin flip, we draw a card. Whenever a player wins a coin flip?
Yep.
Oh, wow. And Okun is whenever a player wins a coin flip, you double his power, right?
Oh, baby.
He's going to get big.
Yes.
Yeah, he's going to get big and smash.
And they both cost 5. One is blue, one is red.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So they're very good. One's a card draw engine, one just out of nowhere can wipe somebody out.
Yeah.
Next up, we have a Shapesharer.
Shapesharer, Changeling. You can pay blue 2, target Shapeshifter becomes a copy of target creature until end of turn. So that kind of just turns that into whatever you want.
Yep.
And we'll see in a minute why that's important.
Yes. We have a Locust God.
6 mana, 4/4 flyer. Whenever you draw a card, you put a blue 1/1 insect creature with flying into play, and you can pay blue, red, 2, draw a card, then discard a card. And if it would die, you put it onto 3rd from the top. No, you return it to your hand at the end step.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah.
We have a Toothy Imaginary Friend.
Toothy, but no Peer.
No Peer.
You can't play Peer. So it partners with Peer. You could search your library for a Peer, but you wouldn't find it. 1/1 for 4. Whenever you draw a card, put a +1 on him. And when he dies, you draw cards equal to the +1s on it.
He's so good.
Yeah.
He is so good.
Yeah, he's totally fine. You got to do a lot of work, or you got to wait a long time to net lots of cards off of it. But when it leaves the battlefield, so as soon as it starts to look like it's going to be a problem, even if they Path to Exile it or Swords to Plowshare it to exile it, you're going to draw the cards.
The thing I like about Toothy is there's a sweet spot with Toothy. There's it starts off where it's whatever, he just dies, and you're like, ah, shit, I just basically discarded a card.
Well, you still draw one card if he has no counters on it, right?
I guess. But
do you, though? Do you draw cards for counters, or do you draw cards equal to his power?
It's counters.
Counters on it. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
So there is that sweet spot where, you kind of just paid 4 and waited a turn to draw 1 card or 2 cards.
Or nothing.
But there is a point where he's like a 13/13, and nobody wants to remove him because they don't want you to draw 12.
Yeah.
So they just try and block it.
Yeah.
Without killing it.
Yeah, you know what the other sweet spot is? Imprisoned in the Moon, or Song of the Dryads, or Frogify, or Brain Freeze? Not Brain Freeze. The one that turns it into an 0/4 like it's frozen.
Sure.
From Dominaria.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are going to get it. And then if it leaves the battlefield because it has no abilities, if it's one of the ones that takes away its abilities, then you're kind of hooped. But
yeah, but
they still used a removal spell on Toothy instead of Brudiclad or Joyra, I guess.
Exactly. Or one of the other.
Or Locust God.
Yes. Okay, so let's get into the very Brando part of the creature section.
Sure.
Should be Clump?
Clump away.
Okay, we have Clever Impersonator, Clone, Dax, Duplicant, Sakashima the Imposter, Phyrexian Metamorph, Stunt Double, Vesuvian Doppelganger, and Vesuvian Shape Shifter, and Vizier of Many Faces.
So all of those are 4 or 5, I think, mana clones. And by and large, what they do is when you cast them, you choose a creature on the battlefield, and it enters the battlefield as a copy of that creature.
Yep.
Not a token, although there are some that we'll get to that do that. They enter as a copy of that creature. And right now, we're seeing a lot of legendary things, and people are probably wondering, what are you guys doing?
What the hell are you going to do?
Can't copy legendary stuff other than with, of course, Sakashima, that keeps her own name, even though she's a copy of the creature that you chose, which is weird because it's like it doesn't actually get the bonus that we're leading into.
Yeah,
You never thought of that, did you?
But it does copy all of the legendary stuff, all of which are really good.
Oh, yeah. All of the legendary stuff are really good in this deck. You happen to be right there.
All right, the last creature
Yeah.
is the 7 Dwarves.
The 7 Dwarves. This card, I said this card is good. And I think that it's good, and I want to see somebody build a Legacy deck. I know we're a Commandy podcast, but if you play Legacy out there in CCO Nation, send me your list, commandercookout@gmail.com. I want to see them.
Actually, when you said that, that's what made me think, this is going to be awesome. This is really cool. And we asked CCO Nation for deck lists, and I was like, what if we don't get one? And we did end up getting one. But I was like, you know what? I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this in real life. This sounds like lots of fun.
I'm taking all the credit, though, because this is my idea. So this is a 2/2 dwarf for red 1. 7 dwarves gets +1/+1 for each other creature named 7 dwarves we control. Also, a deck can have up to 7 cards named 7 dwarves.
Oh.
There it is, right?
That is so good.
So as of right now, my count of clones, not that we've already talked about on the show, but the count of clones in this deck, 16.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, 15, because Sakashima doesn't have the name 7 Dwarf.
Right.
But that's fine.
That's okay.
15 is still good.
Yeah.
Additionally, we've got things that make tokens. Some of those tokens are an actual thing, like an insect or a mirror or a whatever. But if you have a token of your 7 dwarves, Brudiclad can make all of your tokens into the token that you choose.
The 7 Dwarf.
And you'll have to remember that if you have 4 or 5 dwarves out there, they all get, let's say you have 5 dwarves and one of them's a token and you've got 10 other tokens. Okay, so you've got 5 dwarves, so they all get +5/+5. So they're 7 7s. And then you go, move to combat. Brudiclad makes all of my tokens, my 10 tokens, into 7 dwarf tokens. So all of my dwarves get an additional +10/+10. So now there's 17 17s, and you've got 17 of them.
Yeah, 15 of them in this example.
Yeah, 15 of them, and they're 17 17s.
Wrecked.
Whatever it is, or there's 17 of them, they're all 19 19s because they're base power 2/2.
Yeah.
19 19s. And there's 17 of them, and that's if you have 10 tokens and you have a Brudiclad.
And that's not hard to do.
Yeah, and that seems like a Magical Christmas Land best case scenario mentality type thing, but like you've played in token decks.
Yep.
Sometimes you just get 5, 6, 10 tokens and you're not even trying.
Just incidentally, they just sort of happen. Like the Locust God just gives you tokens for playing Magic, and Brudiclad just gives you tokens for playing Magic, and we have a bunch of other things that just give you tokens for doing things that you're going to do anyway.
Yeah, and all you have to really do is draw one of your 7 dwarves.
Exactly.
Okay, let's see what else we got, and we've got lots of card draw.
We do, because we're playing blue and red. Yeah. Well, mostly blue.
Well, I'm not going to say lots of card draw because there's kind of only like 3 things in the deck that say draw a card, but they happen to be things like Toothy that could draw us like 10 at once, or Joyra that might net us 10 cards over the course of the game.
And Zindan Split, which if you're lucky could draw you,
yeah,
who knows?
You know what? Let's say the game in a casual game, an EDH game goes 10 turns. That might be a little bit generous. Maybe games usually go 8 or 9 turns. If the game goes 10 turns and we net 10 cards off of Joyra or 10 cards off of Toothy, that actually lets us hold in our hand double the amount of cards we'd normally see. And when you can do double of anything in Magic, it's probably going to win you the game if left unchecked.
Yes.
Right?
I like it.
Right? Like, we don't care about what our opponent is doing under any circumstance if we can enact a double type scenario, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk some instants.
Sure.
First up, we have Cackling Counterpart.
Kicking it off right. Right?
Right.
Right. Blue, 1, instant. That's why this card's good.
Yes.
Put a token into the battlefield that's a copy of target creature you control.
Uh-oh.
I remember when this card came out and everybody was like, oh, yeah, it's got to be something we control. Yeah, just play good creatures.
Yeah, just play good stuff.
Yeah. Also, flashback.
Yes.
Blue, 5.
Nah.
Pretty steep, but if you're paying 7 to get like a 15/15 because it's a 7 dwarves,
That's pretty good.
that's pretty good.
All right, we have a Chaos Warp.
That's a removal spell, and you could theoretically remove one of your own things to try and hit a clone or a 7 dwarf,
I sure could.
and that could give the rest of your 7 dwarves all +1/+1.
It's like F my tentacle token. I'm going for dwarf.
Yeah.
Very cool. We have a Rift.
Yeah, Rift.
We have a Mystical Tutor.
That tutors for an instant or sorcery, puts on the top of your library, instant speed, so you could just draw it.
We have a Pact of Negation.
Weird include. I'm not sure why that one made the cut, but
I wanted a counter spell, and I figure if I'm going to play one counter spell, it should be a good one.
yeah, I think that counterspell is just better because this is actually a 5-cost counterspell. It actually is. It just changes when you have to pay the 5 mana. I've got some notes on counterspells and potential suggestions because this is a real deck that you play, so you might want to actually tweak it and tune it over time. So we'll talk about that in a sec.
There will be tuning to be done. I have a Pongify and a Rapid Hybridization and a Reality Shift.
Those are the trifecta of blue removal. They remove the thing for 1 or 2 mana and they replace it with a 3/3, a 3/3, or in Reality Shift's case, the top card of their library is manifested as a 2/2.
Yes.
Yes.
I have a Supplant Form.
Supplant Form. That is blue 4. Instant, return target creature to its owner's hand. You may put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of that creature.
So you can save a 7 dwarves and get your token 7 dwarves, or
you get your token 7 dwarves in that case. Okay.
Or hypothetically, let's say they have an Ulamog.
Also good.
I would also like an Ulamog.
You could also use it as a 6 mana way to save your Locust God or whatever. The only caveat to using it as a means to save one of your things is you're leaving 6 mana up.
Yeah.
Like 6 mana is like that's drawing and just attacking and then saying go and doing nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Just on the off chance that you're going to have to protect your thing.
So that's me playing blue. No draw, swing go.
Yeah, but you're swinging.
I guess, yeah, I'm swinging. Ah, damn it. I lost it.
Yeah.
All right, and the last instant is my favorite counterspell, Wild Ricochet.
Red 2, you may choose new targets for an instant or sorcery spell, then copy that spell, you may choose new targets.
Yes.
So if somebody's like Doomblading your 7 dwarves, you go, nope, Doomblade your guy, and I'll copy it so Doomblade your other guy.
Or, let's think bigger, Ryan.
Sure.
Let's say, time stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah, now we're talking.
Yeah. There's actually a couple at our EDH&M meta. There is at least a couple decks I know that play Time Warp effects in their deck. And you remember, like, Time Warp and that Mystic Sanctuary, bouncing your land, putting it back on the top, blah, blah, blah. Or there's a Golos deck that looks to take extra turns. Those are target player takes an extra turn, people. So that's the thing.
Lots of those extra turn spells actually do say target player on them. I'm not sure why. Maybe it is to give people an extra out so they can redirect them or something. I don't know.
It could be.
But
the other thing, too, which is funny with Wild Ricochet is you could go like Cackling Counterpart and then copy it and you get 2 7 dwarves.
Oh, yeah.
You could do that.
You could do
There's
that. There's
lots of uses for that card, and whenever it comes up, it's always good because you're paying 4 mana essentially to get 2 of a spell. Remember, when you double something,
It's always good.
It's always good.
Yeah, I like that. All right, speaking of things we could double, we have a Brass's Bounty.
Okay, sorceries now for Red 6.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. For each land you control, create a colorless treasure artifact token, and it taps and sacks for a mana of any color.
War turns into 7 dwarves.
Yeah. You know what I like better than Brass's Bounty?
What's that?
Dockside Extortionist.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I was going to say half the mana, but no, it's far less than half the mana.
Yes.
And it gives you potentially as many treasure tokes. That's a thing.
I don't hate that. And
you could make clones of it.
And if you would like a treasure nav, remember, check us out on social media. You get entered in to win our Savine EDH deck giveaway.
Yeah, of course. We didn't mention all of the details. The official details will be on Commander
Cookout.com.
That's the website.
Yes.
Yes.
Our official home on the entire internet. The next sorcery on the deck is a Fabricate.
Fabricate. So this searches for an artifact, puts it into your hand. You got some tutors in here.
I actually think that this one is actually a remnant, and I'm going to cut it for something else. I don't know what, but I think it's on the block to get removed.
That's fine. It's a good card.
It's a good card, but I don't know. I'm not a huge tutor fan if I can help it. I don't think this deck really needs tutors.
Get the old tootskis. This deck has enough redundancy to not need them, but and you know what else, too, is that doesn't find your 7 dwarves?
Yeah, like it could be something fun, is what that could be, and I would rather play fun cards.
I suppose.
Yeah.
And of course, the devil's advocate is the tutor finds you the card that you think is fun, right? It's the second copy of that card. That's the kind of the two sides of the coin, right?
I suppose.
It's fine either way. Like, you're only playing a couple.
Let's talk about a card that probably doesn't get played anywhere but in a deck like this one. In Hate Mirage.
Oh, man, I love that name.
I do too. I like the art too. This is a cool card.
Mirage. So this is sorcery for red and 3. Choose up to 2 target creatures you don't control. For each of those creatures, create a token that's a copy of that creature. The token gains haste. Exile it at the beginning of the next end step.
Sometimes they just have better stuff than you.
Yes, and you don't have to choose 2 things controlled by the same player.
Nope.
So you could just choose like one from you, one from the other dude.
Correct.
Ooh.
Like you could have one of their little those archetypes that give all of your guys something but takes it away from everybody else. Like the flying one. So then all your dudes get flying, all their dudes lose flying, and then something giant from this guy over here, and then you can just smash some wholesale ass.
Yeah.
You can smash asses.
I love smashing.
All right, next up we have Orion Special and Heat Shimmer.
Yeah, Heat Shimmer. This is a sorcery. Oh, you do play Twin Flame. So Heat Shimmer and Twin Flame both kind of do the same thing. Heat Shimmer is red 2. Twin Flame is red 1. Put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of target creature. It gains haste. At the end of turn, you sacrifice it. And Twin Flame has Strive, so you can copy it every time you pay an additional red 2. You can get another instance of that card.
Yeah, so hypothetically, if you have a bunch of 7 dwarves, you could make lots of 7 dwarves out of it.
Yeah, and you just get them till end of turn, but if you can make maybe 2 additional 7 dwarves and you have 10, that's like, for 5 mana, you make 2 more, you're going to give all of them +2/+2. That's an additional, 20 damage.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Speaking of giving things 20 damage, how about Rite of Replication?
Oh, yeah, this one gives you 5 more. So blue 2, you put a token into play that's a copy of target creature, right?
Yep.
If you pay the kicker of 5, you get 5 of those tokens instead. So for what's the all-in cost? 9 to get 5 more of something.
Yes.
7 dwarves seems like a bad target if you only have 1 and you're going to go up to 6. But if you have 5 of them and you go up to 10 of them,
yeah,
seems good.
And that is usually what happens. Honestly, that is usually what happens because you're going to have tokens from other stuff. You've played Brass's Bounty already. You have 9 treasure tokens.
Yeah, you know what? The way that this deck curves out is very interesting because you could go turn 2 and 3, 7 dwarves. Turn 4, clone a 7 dwarves. Turn 5 or 6, Brudiclad, right? Then you could go, I don't know, what do you do at the middle or top of the middle of the curve, right? Do you just go clone, same turn?
Maybe. You got all those good legendary guys. You can start playing them.
Sure.
There's lots of stuff you can do.
Top of the curve, you just go Rite of Replication and go, ugh.
Exactly.
You die?
Die. It's my favorite thing to say to somebody. All right, let's move on to some enchanties.
Sure.
There are 5 of them. Let's start with the least exciting one in Mr. Kimura.
That just is cumulative upkeep 1. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature, they can pay 4, or they draw a card, and that costs just blue.
Or I draw a card.
That's what I meant.
They don't get shit.
No, that's why it's good.
Yes, exactly.
That card is a mighty card. That's a CEDH staple. You drop that turn 1, you're almost guaranteed to draw 3 cards off of it. I mean, your opponents might not have turn 1 plays, but if they don't, just pay the cumulative upkeep 1, and on round 2 of the table,
you get some cards.
You're almost guaranteed to draw 3 more.
Also, it has fish on it, and that's just cool. All right, we have Curse of Opulence.
That is red for an enchantment. You curse somebody. Whenever enchanted player is attacked, create a colorless artifact token named gold. You sacrifice it to whatever, and then that player does the same. No, each opponent attacking that player does the same.
Yeah.
So you get a gold token no matter what, and whoever attacks the cursed player also gets one.
Right, so it incentivizes people to attack not you, and it feeds into your strategy of turning gold tokens into 7 dwarves.
Yes, what happens when we curse ourselves again? Isn't that good? Don't we like doing that?
Then when people attack us, we get a gold token.
We get a gold token regardless. They get a gold token when they attack us?
Yeah.
Is that good to curse ourselves?
No.
Oh.
No, because it makes people attack into us.
Oh.
And not somebody else. It's never as good to attack, unless they're doing it anyway.
Do we get 2 if they?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
No.
Okay, curse someone else, I guess.
Definitely curse someone else. Because then when you attack the cursed person, you get 2.
Ooh, I like that.
I like that one. How about Followed Footsteps?
Followed Footsteps, blue, 3. Enchantment, aura, enchant creature. Okay. At the beginning of your upkeep, so you got to wait a turn for this to happen after you pay 5 on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Put a token that's a copy of enchanted creature onto the B. This one's not my favorite.
It's not the best
slow,
card, but
and there is the opportunity to remove the creature that you enchanted. They 2-for-1 you. You got no value off it. You spent 5. We've got some suggestions. This one might be on the short list of chopping.
how about Storm the Vault?
Storm the Vault. This one is the one that flips into Tolarian Academy, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that taps for a blue for each artifact you control once it flips, but it's a legendary enchantment when it's not flipped, and it costs red, blue, 2. Whenever one or more creatures you control deals combat damage to a player, you get a treasure token. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 5 or more artifacts, transform Storm the Vaults.
And Brudiclad is an artifact, and at the beginning of combat, he gives you another artifact.
Yep.
Lots of
And
artifacts.
you can make all of your current tokens into artifacts if you want to flip Storm the Vaults, and that'll like immediately boost your mana from 4 or 5, whatever turn it is, to
19.
97. Yeah. I guess turn 6, if you have Brudiclad, on turn 7 you untap and you have like 1,000 mana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good. All right, and Mirror March.
Mirror March. This is a Brando special, I guess,
yeah,
right?
it is. I love this card.
Red 5, enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, flip a coin until you lose a flip. So Zindersplit and Okun like this.
They do.
Your clones to copy your 7 dwarves like this, but the token things don't.
Right.
Okay. For each coin flip you've won, create a token that's a copy of target creature. Those tokens gain haste, exile them at the beginning of the end step. So you could just like play a cloning a 7 dwarves, and this will trigger, and if you win, let's say 2 coin flips, you get 2 more dwarves.
That's right.
And they all gain haste.
Right.
So at that point, you probably have 3 dwarves that can attack, and they're all 5/5s.
That's right.
Sure. I'm just doing quick math on like medium case scenario on that card.
And you're on turn 6. You probably have something else.
Yeah.
You've probably played Brudiclad before this, so you're gonna have some 7 dwarves.
Yeah. This is probably I don't know. Do you play Brudiclad before this? You probably do, just
100%.
so you could change all of your tokens into dwarves. Yeah,
man.
Okay.
Brudiclad is awesome. Mirror March is also lots of fun. It's inconsistent, but it's super fun. I really like it. All right, it's Artifact O'Clock.
Artie O'Clock.
We're going to start off with a Crook of Condemnation.
Ooh, I remember open flipping this card and telling you that it was good.
Didn't I tell you it was good?
Definitely not.
Oh.
2 mana, artifact, pay 1, exile target card from a graveyard. Okay, fine. Pay 1, exile Crook, exile all cards from all graveyards. How come this isn't Relic of Progenitus?
Because this is what was in my hand at the time I was making the deck.
Oh.
I had one like in a pile of cards, so I did it. Also, this one lets you pick. Relic of Progenitus, you don't get to pick.
Oh. but it also lets you draw a card when you do the thing.
I guess.
Yes, and there's a new one from Theros Beyond Death. We'll probably pull it in our Open Flippy videos.
Ooh.
Make sure you check them out on YouTube, everybody. Got there.
You ever build a deck that's super casual, and then you put a card that's probably too good for the deck in it?
No, I've never done that. No.
How about a Helm of the Host?
Ooh. This is good in regular decks.
Yeah.
What about a token deck?
Ooh.
Well, let's find out. This is a 4-mana legendary artifact equipment. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a token that's a copy of equipped creature, except if it's legendary, the token isn't legendary.
This card is mighty.
This is a mighty card. Equipped for 5, so you've got an all-in of 9, and then you have to go to combat, which, fine. You know what it doesn't say? At the beginning of your upkeep.
Yeah.
Yeah. What it says is spend all your mana on your first main phase and then just immediately move to combat. And then you get it.
Yeah.
Which is better than upkeep.
And it doesn't die at the end of your turn.
Oh.
If it's legendary, it's not legendary. So if it's a Locust God or an Akum or a Zindan Split, you can make all your creatures into that. Oh, Helm of the Host is good.
Yeah.
I really like Helm of the Host. One of the cards I plan to get signed the next time I meet the artist, because she's a very nice lady, in Inspiring Statuary.
Ooh, this is a Brando special too. 3-drop, non-creature spells you control have improvise. So that means you can tap your artifacts to help pay for one of the costs. And that goes for your equipments if they're attached, right? You can still tap them.
Yep.
That goes for your Lightning Greaves, your Crook, your Silent Gravestone, which is another graveyard exiling thing that should be that new thing from Theros, or a Relic of Progenitus, your Swiftfoot Boots, your Smuggler's Copter if you're not attacking it because it is not crewed. Even if it is crewed, it's still an artifact that you could tap to improvise with. I'm just going through the list so we can kind of clump some. And Treasure Map. I don't remember what this card does ever.
Treasure Map, you tap to scry 1. You tap 1 and it to scry 1. And then then it gets a counter. I mean, it has 3 counters on it. You flip it over, make 3 treasures, and it turns into a land that lets you sack treasures to draw cards.
Ooh. You get landmark counters on it.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So, you know what? Just by the by, that's the artifact suite.
if we're clumping, we're playing a Sol Ring, a Thran Dynamo, a Thought Vessel, a Mox Amber, and an Izzet Signet.
Mox Amber, that's a little bit of a weird one.
It's one that I had, and there's lots of legendary creatures in the deck, so I figured the odds are it'll get me some mana most of the time.
Yeah. And the legendary creatures all have colored mana in their casting cost.
Yeah, so
I think Zinder Split and Okum are the only ones that don't have dual colors in their mana cost, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
And Sakashima.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, it's fine. And then we've got, I don't know, I guess the other stuff, everything else is in there to either draw cards or make tokens of some kind.
Oh, I didn't mention Prying Blade. What does that do?
Prying Blade is an equipment for 1. It equips for 2. Equipped creature gets +1/+0, and whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, I create a treasure token.
Ooh, okay. And the Smuggler's Copter in there, of course, flying. Crew 1, 3/3 for 2. You can crew it with literally anything in the deck, including a 1/1 shitty token.
Yep.
And when it attacks or blocks, and you can crew at instant speed, right?
Yep.
You draw a card, then discard a card.
So good.
Yeah, that's just a good old card, right?
And we also have a Mimic Vat.
Oh, that's right. So if any of our dwarves die, we can put them under the Mimic Vat, and we can make an instant speed dwarf with haste, and that'll pump our other dwarves once we kind of rebuild, or it'll just give us access to dwarf.
It gives you access to that dwarf token for Brudiclad.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm playing Silent Gravestone and Crook is also sort of a meta call, because there is a Marin deck that's very, very prevalent.
There's at least 2 Marin decks, and there is 1 Muldrotha deck at EDH&M, and now Jesse has a Muldrotha deck too. Jesse.
Freaking guy, yeah. But they're both, the Crook is targeted so I can get the thing that I need to get rid of out of a graveyard, and Silent Gravestone makes cards in graveyards not be the targets of spells or abilities.
Okay.
So it doesn't exile the graveyard, but it can exile graveyards, but it also...
Oh yeah, they're a non-boat together.
Yeah, they suck together, but when you only have one of them, it works good.
Yeah, and Silent Gravestone, I mean, you can pay the 4, exile gravestone and all cards from all graveyards, and that one does draw you a card.
Yeah.
So you know what? You do have to play Graveyard Hate if you're worried about it. I mean, you can't play Bog in this deck, but you can play the Scavenger Grounds.
Yep.
And you do have access to several deserts if you want continued access to sacrifice an artifact, remove all graveyards with Scavenger Grounds. There's a couple deserts that you could run.
Sure.
And if you're not trying to break any land speed records, I'm sure you kind of don't care if those deserts enter the battlefield tapped. Or if there's not a whole lot of aggro decks in the metas that you're playing this deck in, you can play the ones that when you tap them for like a mana, they deal a damage to you. That's okay because they are deserts still, and if you're going to sacrifice them Scavenger Grounds, I don't know, it's something that I've thought about. I do play the white and the black ones in my Elenda deck, but that deck does gain life.
Yes. This one does not. Lastly, we have the Planeswalker area. We have a pair of Saheelis.
Yeah.
We've got Saheeli Sublime Artificer.
This one is, I remember this one being good. So let's see here. This is a 5 loyalty Saheeli for 3.
Ooh.
Like, is it hybrid 1? Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact token.
Yeah, baby.
I remember this being a storm card, and I was thinking, God, I wish it was just red. Oh, anyways, -2, target artifact you control becomes a copy of another artifact or creature you control until end of turn, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types.
Yeah. So it can turn...
you can make one of your artifacts into an artifact or a creature.
I can make my gold token into 7 dwarfs, thereby giving me my dwarf token, so Brudiclad can turn all my token into 7 dwarfs.
But it's not a token, though. It's still just whatever it is, plus it's an artifact in addition to its other types. The point is you can make whatever you want into another 7 dwarves.
Yeah, if it's a gold token, which is a token, that's an artifact. Yeah. See, because lots of those tokens are artifacts.
Oh, fuck, you got me. That was so good.
I'm telling you, dude.
Oh, man. Okay, that's a little tricksy right there.
I've found ways of doing this, man. And the last one is Saheeli the Gifted. You read it. I'm not wearing my glasses.
4 mana Saheeli. I'm sitting across the studio and I can read it. And Brando's got it 8 inches from his head and he can't. So this is a 4 loyalty Saheeli for red, blue 2, +1. Create a 1/1 servo artifact colorless creature token, +1 again. The next spell you cast costs 1 less to cast for each artifact you control. So that is pretty good with your Brass's Bounty or maybe your Brudiclad or whatever, right?
Does that lower kicker costs for red replication? I just thought of that.
No, because that's an additional cost.
Weak.
Tell us we're wrong in the comments or on Twitter. At CCOPodcast, at CCOBrando. Let us know if we're right or wrong there. -7. For each artifact you control, create a token that's a copy of that artifact. It gains haste. They all gain haste and exile them at the end of combat. So that's like a card that I'm going to suggest, sort of.
He's pretty good.
That's good.
I like her.
I like the create a token. It sort of protects herself if you need that because you're playing lots of creatures in the deck. You can make your expensive stuff cost less.
Which
right?
is good. And like she goes up to make your stuff cost less, which is cool.
Yeah, you know what? Even if it doesn't reduce kicker costs, if you could just like plus her and make your Writer Replication cost those 2 colorless less, all of a sudden 7, that looks a lot more attractive than 9.
True.
In any
circumstance, It's just better. Yeah, you ain't wrong.
Yeah, that's it. So, any lands of note? Do we care? I know I mentioned Scavenger Grounds. Other than that, though, like lots of islands, lots of mountains, which is great. I've seen a couple Blood Moons in our meta. I hate bending how I build decks around like only Blood Moon or only Back to Basics or only Magus of the Moon.
Right.
They're all relatively expensive cards that not very many people play. And this is a 2-color deck, so it's like, I don't know, it's fine.
You don't super need a lot of... like, the non-basics I play in this deck are Cascade Bluff, Scalding Tarn, Shivan Reef, Steam Vent, Sulphur Falls, Strip Mine, Reliquary Tower.
Got to get that Strip Mine in there, though,
gotta
right?
play that Strip
Yeah,
Mine.
that's it.
Sometimes you just gotta kill that land, Ryan.
Yeah.
You just gotta do that.
Yeah, I think all that's fine. You don't play the Karoo, is it Boiler Works land?
Nah.
Too slow?
Too slow.
Or just like too... It kind of throws a monkey wrench in your curve, right? When you don't have it in your opening hand on turn 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're cool. I like those lands lots, and there is a place for them, but I just don't think that this deck really super duper needs that.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think you play them on turn 2 in a slow deck, or you play them on turn 87 in a deck that wants like just land drops.
Yeah, you play it over and over again with your Azusa so that you can get your landfall triggers.
I suppose, yeah.
That's why I like them. Yeah, so the land suite's pretty... I didn't spend a whole ton of time on the land. I counted pips, I did a little bit of math, and then I got a bunch of basics out of my box and put them in sleeves.
Yeah, and you know what? That's totally fine for a deck that is casual throw together, and you've built this kind of archetype before, so that's fine. Over time, you might find, oh yeah, I've always got 87 basics. I'm going to put a Scavenger Grounds in. I'm going to put a Wasteland in. I'm going to put those 2 deserts and the 2 cycling deserts in just to help my Scavenger Grounds, or I could cycle them to draw cards late game, right?
Yeah, it's...
Drawing cards late game with those cycling deserts, that's actually good for your Toothy, your Chasm Skulker, right?
For the Locust God, too? Like
Yeah, it's good. Those are the kinds of things when you have a real deck, you want to kind of get that little bit of an edge so you can slowly hone your deck over time, right?
Yes.
So for those following along at home, 3 card draw spells, but again, they all draw us lots of cards.
Yeah, they're all very good.
There's a bunch of targeted removal. There's 5. We could go back to the Pact of Negation. Like, that is an expensive card if anybody wants to actually build this deck. You could just run a counterspell, or you could run a 4 or 5 mana counterspell with other upsides if you're going to spend that 5 mana on the Pact of Negation.
I could run a Rewind or a Fairy's Trickery. There's all kinds of stuff.
Cryptic Command, which lets you draw cards, counterspells, tap dudes.
I don't have any more of those, though.
Oh, yeah. What's the one to counter target spell draw card? That's a good one. For 4, if you've got to have the 4 mana open, where like Pact, you don't need any mana open, but you're going to spend 5 on it. That's the point.
You know what I could play instead of Pact of Negation is that, what's it called? Whirlwind Denial from the new set?
Oh, I don't remember.
That's the one that counters any number of spells or abilities unless the controller pays 4.
There you go.
I'm kind of into that card right now, so hopefully I'll open one in my box and I can put that in.
Yeah, that's it. So...
That's weird that I'm excited for a counterspell. That's so weird.
It. That threw me off a little bit. 5 mana rocks. Is it enough? You've got a low curve. Like it's right at 3.0 or something, isn't it? 3.06?
3.06.
That's it. Is that low enough for that amount of mana rocks? And you're playing a Thought Vessel. That could be maybe an Arcane Signet. Do you care about having cards in your hand?
Not so much. I think that's another one left over from when it was... drawy, cardy, flippy, coiny.
Oh, yeah. Or
draw every time I play a spell.
Or June the Shifting Flame. Yeah.
Yeah, it just was in there.
Good card. Like, I'm not going to knock the card. You cast it for 2, it gives you 1, and there's an upside. The upside, of course, of Arcane Signet is you play it for 2, it gives you 1, but those are colored mana.
Yeah.
I guess see the section on number of basic lands.
Yeah.
Same kind of theory, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Token generators, 14.
Hell yeah.
1 drops that you want to play, 8.
Yeah.
So just below half of your games, you're going to have action on turn 1. 2 drops, 18. So about 75% of your games, you're going to have action on turn 2.
Stuff going on.
And with the Commander, free mulligan, multiplayer mulligan, almost every single game, above 85% of your games, you're going to have action on turn 2.
In all the games I've played with this, which is only a handful, I have a 7 Dwarves that I'm going to play.
That was my question. My next note is, do you run your 7 Dwarf out immediately on turn 2? Is that what you start to do? Do you start to get in 7 Dwarf beats if you have 2 in your opening hand?
I have been, but I think that people are catching on to what I'm doing, and so now the 7 Dwarves are a target. So, I'll get in for, 7-8 damage with a couple of 7 Dwarves, and then people are going to start killing them because they know now I'm at 5-6 mana, now I'm going to start cloning them.
Yeah.
And now they're going to be in trouble.
And you know what, the deck, I don't think I see a way for the deck to, other than maybe your Toothy leaving the battlefield on 10 counters, I don't see a way to have a whole bunch of mana open and a haste enabler and just go dwarf, get 15 dwarfs. I don't see a way to just kind of combo puke dwarves out and just kill somebody.
Well, if you can puke out tokens, Brudiclad is a haste enabler.
Oh yeah, Brudiclad.
Yeah,
That's right. I
It
was
just
thinking,
gives them haste.
why no anger when you're running so many mountains? Why no mass hysteria? Because that's kind of just like a fun political card to give all creatures haste.
That's pretty good. You
Gives-
windmill slam that turn 1, and the games are crazy.
100%. I played it in Zata in the Vegas Commander Championship 2 years ago, and I windmilled it first game of the entire tournament. Mass hysteria? Fuck, the game went on for like 2 hours because everybody could attack everybody, and everybody's creatures just kept dying.
That'll do it.
That'll do it, man.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
telling you. Okay, we got to move on. We could suggest cards for real decks all day because we actually play these decks, but
Yeah.
we got to move on. Strengths and weaknesses.
Strengths and weaknesses.
Like I said, very Brando style deck. So if you know that you like Brando style decks out there in CCO Nation, this is it.
This is the one. This one, like I said at the top of the show, it's going to make you feel the way I feel all the time.
Yeah, it plays all the shit that you want to play.
Whether the deck works or not, you're going to know exactly how it feels to be me while you play Magic.
That's it. So every time we've dropped Clone.deck on the show or some variation of it, we say it scales nicely with the meta because if you do copy your opponent's stuff, you are going to get the same power level deck that they get.
Well, the one thing about this, I guess this is now a good time to talk about scaling with other decks. The first game I ever played with this deck, and Ryan was there, I used a clone to clone my opponent's Rexiel so that I could attack another opponent so I could steal the Conflux out of their graveyard to find 7 Dwarves and my Right of Replication so that I could win the game.
Conflux tutors for a card of each color.
Exactly.
So you have 2 different colors in your deck. You find the 7 Dwarves and the thing to clone it 5 times.
And Rexiel lets you sneak in and steal it from their graveyard for free.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, so like
I walked up and you were like, I did it. I'm like, what? I built it. What? And you just point to his 7 Dwarves, and I was like, oh, that was my idea. You did it. And he's like, check this out. Right of rep. I've got 13 of them. Take 15 times 12 or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
Die.
It was awesome.
It was a fun moment. I walked up right at the perfect time.
It was a good time.
So, like, is the deck explosive then? I know, like, Brudiclad's the haste enabler. There's not really any way other than your Right of Replication to explode out. Is it explosive or linear?
It is kind of linear in how it does what it does, but it has been explosive each time I play it. Like, essentially the deck goes kind of like, you're middling, you're surviving, you're playing a deck that's fun and pretty good, and it has some good interaction in it, and then you get a 7 Dwarves token, and you can just go ham if you have a Brudiclad.
That's it.
If you have a Brudiclad and a 7 Dwarves token, just by playing the deck the way that you're going to be playing it anyway, you're going to slap somebody's lips off immediately. Like, you may not be able to win the game, but you can cause a heaping helping of pain for one person.
What? Sometimes that's more fun, right? Like, it's like my Persistent Petitioner's deck. It doesn't win games, but it gets second in every single game it's ever in because it can't die. It gets to do its thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think that this deck, based on its mana cost, is going to get to do its thing.
Oh yeah, it'll, as long as you don't totally whiff on every draw for every turn, you're going to get to play and do what the deck wants to do, and that's what you always want to do in every game of Commander, whether you win or lose, right?
Yeah.
Is you're going to want to play the shit out of your deck, and this deck will let you play the shit out of it all the time.
Sweet. So let's hop over to weaknesses, then we'll move into Spice Calculator and what have you.
Let's do it.
So weaknesses. Card draw. Is it possible in a deck, particularly a deck like this, that you want a density of dwarves and clones and token makers? Is it possible to have too much of the thing that you want to do and not have enough ways to find or refill?
Yes.
Right? You play a couple tutors to help you find, but those aren't card advantage. They're not helping you fill your hand up so you have more things to do on the next turn. You only get 1 card a turn, and if you cast 2 cards a turn for a couple turns in a row, you're going to be empty. The Boros problem, right?
Right.
This feels like, based on the card draw spells that are in it, it feels like you might run into that Boros problem unless you happen to find your Zinder Split, your Toothy, or what's the other one? Your Locust God.
Locust God.
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. And Locust God, you got to discard too, right?
Yeah.
So keep that in mind, I guess, if anybody's going to build this. And over time, you're going to find, you know what, I can make a ton of mana. Maybe I just want a Blue Sun Zenith.
Yeah, really good. What's the other one? Not Brain Freeze.
Brain Geyser?
No.
That does draw you cards for X.
I can't think of the name of the damn spell. It'll hit me like later on today, and I'll say it really loud, and you'll be like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
how we usually do it.
Well, listen into our YouTube content. You'll hear it maybe. Remember that thing we were talking about that one time? Oh, yeah. Nobody else will know what we're talking about.
Nobody else will get it.
So I guess the moral of the story is there for everybody is just make sure that you do have ways to refill if you're focused on like creating a density of the thing that you want to do. Sometimes you can be too dense and have nothing else to do if that plan kind of goes awry.
If the plan fails,
Dwarf, clone, token, and then your opponent goes Wrath of God. And you're like, oh, fuck, there goes my hand.
yeah, shit.
And my whole game. I can't do anything, right? And you're in top deck mode.
Yeah.
Anyways, removal package. We talked about counter spells. I think that this deck could definitely need a sweeper and evacuation, especially after you told me that you can make your creatures into gold tokens and they don't get bounced.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Well, I just realized that today too. So learning with Brando and Ryan as we're learning, that's awesome.
There it is. Couple suggestions. Clone Legion makes all of your... It puts a token copy into play for each creature your opponent controls.
Ooh.
Costs like 1,000 mana, though.
I'll get there.
It's a good top-end card.
I have a Talarian Academy. I can get there.
There it is. Yeah, you can do anything with Talarian Academy.
it's fine.
Didn't Standard in 1998 teach us that?
Exactly.
Stolen Identity. That was suggested by F.U. Aiden last night at Beers.
Yeah, and I was looking at it and I read, I was like, whatever. And then as soon as I got up from the table, I was like, shit.
That is
so good.
6 mana, right?
4.
No, it's 6.
It's
gotta
4.
be 6.
I think it's 4.
You fucking guy. It's 6.
It is 6.
Give it a read.
Stolen Identity is a sorcery for 6. Put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of target artifact or creature, and then it has Cipher. And Cipher, if I remember right, I can't actually read the words, is when...
You can cast the spell when the creature that it's encoded onto attacks, right?
It sort of enchants a creature after it resolves.
Yeah.
And then... So it goes to your graveyard.
Oh, no,
you cast it again.
you exile it.
Oh, you
It
exile
does
it?
go to exile, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which is fine. It does the same thing when the creature attacks. You can cast the encoded card. I don't know why they didn't just call it encode. And you get another copy.
I'm going to put that in instead of Followed Footsteps.
Yes.
Because it says
100%.
combat on it, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
There we go.
Yeah, you're doing combat things in blue. New year, new you.
Exactly.
That's it. So, Spice Calculator.
Spice Calculator.
I hate to break it to you.
Ooh, not good.
Yeah, you know what? You have 2 tutors, which always hurts a little bit. You said you're going to cut one.
Yeah.
Maybe, because I have faith that you are a man of your word. I counted it in such a way that because 7 Dwarves is on the stock page for Brudiclad on EDH Rec, I counted that as 7.
Oh, damn it.
7 matches there. So you've got 34 cards different than the stock list.
Still pretty okay.
If you count it as 1, you go up to 40 cards different. So I'm going to do both. And people can decide what they want.
Okay.
985 Brudiclad lists on EDH Rec in the last 2 years.
He's the 4th most popular Izzet commander. He's right above Mizzix and right below the Locust God.
Yeah, one of which you like, one of which you less than like.
Yes. Good choice of words.
306 converted mana cost on average, which is good, largely in part to all of the 7 Dwarves.
Yes.
Punch it all into the Spice Calculator with 1 tutor, 34 unique cards from the stock list. 50.9.
Oh, I passed the 50 test.
You did do it. If we kept the 2 tutors in there, if you're going to scumbag me and keep both those tutors in there, 40.9.
Ooh. Yikes.
If you cut the tutor and we only count 7 Dwarves as 1 match instead of 7 matches, 56.9.
There we
That's
go.
getting good. That's
now,
okay.
There it is.
You pass the 50 test. You almost move into honors with that 60 rating. It's okay.
That's all right. I'll take that.
And you know what? Completely unique and new take on clone.deck. Not just because you're adding red and the clone steal your stuff.deck is usually blue when you find it out in the wild. Or it's like a Braids, everybody gets a free thing.deck.
Right.
Or Kami of the butt crack, draw an extra card type thing, right?
Yeah, that's what I used to have.
Yeah, that's right. This is actually a dedicated way inside of your own deck to win the game with those 7 Dwarves.
Yeah.
On a 2 mana common.
Cool.
Right? So you can scale your deck with the power level of your opponents if they're doing the most powerful thing. But if you get 5 or 6 dwarves, you're doing the most powerful thing, and you just clone your own thing.
Exactly.
So that kind of sounds like a final thought of the day. Give us a run through. Thank our glorious overlords. Deck giveaway, $25 from face-to-face games. Do everything. All the pressure's on you.
All right, if you want to enter into either of our giveaways, we got a $25 gift card from face-to-facegames.com. They're Canada's biggest Magic store. If you tag us and them in a social media post, we're going to see it. We'll get you entered into the hat to win $25. Caveat there is you have to have a account at the site. If you want to enter to win our Savine
Mystic Intellect or something?
Mystic Intellect,
I think that's actually it.
super duper wall pre-con 2019 Commander deck, you got to hit us up on any of our social media, leave a comment, tell us something fun, tell us how you like to play blue, or if you don't like to play blue, why not?
Oh, I like that. Okay, I'm going to do I'll do the social media posts for the deck giveaways. You tell us your new way to play blue in 2020.
You're going to take blue out of the, ooh, I'm better than you space and put it into something fun?
Put it into where usually white exists. Play blue like you're playing white.
Like a support color?
Oh, yeah. No, it's gonna be 1/1s for 2 soldier tribal.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, got there.
Now we're talking. As for this deck, like Ryan said, it is a very me deck. It has a lot of me in it, and if you like that or think you would like that, give it a try and let me know what you thought about it. I think it's lots of fun. I've played it a bunch of times. I really, really am enjoying it, and I'm going to have fun tooling it to make it a little bit better. Watch out coming up soon for some new YouTube stuff. Me and Ryan are going to grab some beer. We're going to head out. We're going to eat a taco. We're going to record some video content, and we'll probably talk about that again on the next episode of Commander Cookout Podcast. Hit our theme song!